Lots of ways to get on the air. This is the hardware we've been working on. This is the project I've particularly been working on. But if you're familiar with hotspots and the MMDBM project, that also does M17. And oh, I meant to mention, the first manufacturer to do M17 in the radio is going to be RF Finder. So that radio will have M17 in it very shortly. So Jonathan, kind of the writer of MMDBM, is a part of the M17 project. And M17 is now available in hotspots if you move up to the latest version. So you can do M17 to a hotspot and out from there. There's a version of it which I have with me. So, you know, this is going to look like a hotspot to you, because it really is. It's the same MMDBM code, only instead of having a radio RF interface, this has a repeater interface. So this is what Jeff, if you're familiar with Jeff, W5ME, I think it is, K5ME? Yeah, Jeff. This is what he's using in Tulsa for their M17 repeater. It also will do Fusion and others. So I hope to put this on the air at some point. The development has gone there. Someone mentioned to me earlier that they've seen a video of Jeff using a laptop to do M17. I mentioned mVoice. You see that up here as an internet client. There's some other internet clients, including DroidStar, which is a thing you can stick in your Droid radio, your or phone, sorry. Stick in your phone, and then you can connect up through your phone to the M17 chat group and go that way. Yes?
Does the FCC have any input onto, I mean, what would keep some 17-year-old kid from stumbling across the software, putting it on his laptop, and being on the air as a ham with no license? Is it just by the grace of God that they don't get caught? There's no lock that requires them to have a verifiable call sign?
There's currently no lock.
Okay.
Okay, so it's similar to the you buy a radio from China and you're on the air.
Okay.
So we're self-policing, basically. Right now, that's not a problem, and we hope it never becomes a problem because there's just so few of us. Like I said, me and Jeff and Mike and Dallas are three of the U.S. guys doing some of this, that are actually doing part of the work to produce some of this. All total, we have a net every Friday at 1700 UTC, where we meet in the chat room. Across the entire world, we maybe have 20 people show up in that net. So what I'm talking about is a few years old, but in that sense, very new. But back to the talk here. So I talked about the repeaters and the hotspots. You can get on the air with that. There's some internet clients you can use to use that. It would require that they put in a call sign. And you know, kids like to fake those. And we spot them right off. What's your name? You don't show up in QRT. I talked about radios themselves. So I showed you an example of that. This is another example picture. If you go to the website, it's at the end. There's a whole list of radios that can be used and modified with the Open RTX project. That's the one I talked about that's producing the software goes in a radio. Then Open HT, that's the project I told you is the touchscreen that I'm working on. And then there's just some software-defined radios. How many of you are familiar with SDRs? Okay, good. SDR is really my bailiwick. I run several internet SDR, HF, VHF, UHF receivers that you can use here in the city or across the world. It's on the internet. And I've been working on the software for that. That's part of what got me into this project. And so there are several SDR projects like SDR++, you familiar with that piece of software, and others that will do M17 right now as well. So if you have an SDR transceiver, there's a number of those, Pluto, HackRF, so forth. You can use those to transmit M17 as well. And then if you really want to go crazy and do it all just via software, there's GNU Radio. How many of you know about GNU Radio? Okay, so think of it as like the engineering side. It's a software program, but you literally define how the bits flow through the process and the mathematics to do the communications protocol.